Welcome back, everyone. We have made it to the official draw, which I'm very happy about. I'm very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be quite the exciting thing. Oh my god, thank you so much for changing the title as well. I completely forgot about that. So I would have actually never remembered that. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're gonna have to draw. Well, we're not gonna have to, but we want to draw our participants into the groups. Now that we've determined that Chips won, he won the playoff against Nadia. Unfortunately, Human is having to drop out because he couldn't play today because of his screen having like some issues and stuff, which is completely out of his control, of course. So very understandable. Very sad though. Would have been nice to see him. So we have now determined our 20 participants of the tournament, really. So our 20 people that we will see quite a bit more of throughout the next couple of days. Yeah, we'll see. I will not draw a picture. It will be hopefully looking a bit better than that. But I think while we're yapping or while we're talking about it, I have prepared a little something to let you guys know. I mean, first of all, we got this in here, but also to let you guys know how the rules for this draw are. So I'm gonna play that real quick, just so you get a bit of an idea how this is gonna work. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think it might still be quite helpful. Yeah, so I'll play that real quick. So let me quickly break down how the group stage draw is gonna work today. Preceding this event, the contestants have already played a series of offline seeding matches in a triple bingo format to determine their average skill level at bingo. According to that skill level, they now got sorted into 4 different pots, which we will take a look at in a second. Pot 1 including the 4 fastest runners in the seeding, Pot 2 includes number 5 to 8, and so on and so on. And now we're going to be drawing one runner out of each pot into a group. So at the end of the day, every group has a respective runner from pot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's all there is to know. So let's take a look at the groups. Thank you. I don't know why that sounded like megaphone %. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I was saying. But as long as you could understand it, I guess that's fine. Text said 4 pots, but Nixon said 5. Don't trust the text. The text is stupid. We do indeed have 5 pots. So yeah, I think we can actually get this going because we have a lot of pots to draw from because it is 20 people. And of course, I've prepared a couple more things because I would like to actually introduce the first seeding pot to you guys, which we have here, which is our 4 fastest runners in the seeding that we've played. So basically offline triple bingo races, and you know, the times were written down, and the 3 best times from those we took the averages, and that is the final ranking. And we start to draw out of the first pot, so technically our, I guess, tournament favorites. And yeah, it's already one thing that's interesting to see, because Beaver has, I think for the first time ever, not taken his spot at the leading of the seeding pot, because he's only, quote-unquote, in second. And Luzak, who's returning from 2023 actually, because he wasn't here last year because he didn't have time, actually overtook him in the first spot. I believe Handel is not a big surprise because he was also pot 1 last time. He's incredibly good at triple bingo. He's incredibly good at knockout as well. Knockout, not lockout, that's the word. I can't speak today. That's not good for hosting a tournament. And then maybe, I don't think a surprise necessarily, but Sheriff, the 4th participant of this pot. And just for reference, last year he was, I believe, in the last pot in one of the lowest seeds, which is when he just started. So an incredible improvement. Yeah, a 20th seed out of 21, I think, last year. So I think must be our biggest improvement this year. And very curious to see what he can do in the tournament as well. So The way we're gonna do this is we spin this beautiful wheel, and then I'm gonna, you know, in the background put everyone in their groups, and then once we've rolled it 4 times, we can take a quick look at the groups. I would say that's probably the easiest way to do this. So I think we can ignore that. We can quickly kick this off and roll for the first participant of pot 1 that will be put into group 1. And I'm very, very curious who's it gonna be. So far, obviously, it doesn't really matter like all too much, because and it's gonna be Beaver though. Damn, defending champion. Well, so that's already a group you don't necessarily want to go into, but I feel like you don't necessarily want to get into like any kind of group, because everyone's just really, really, really good. So we have the complex Beaver. I think he doesn't need too much of an introduction, but I'll give him one anyways, because I mean, you all probably know him, even though he's semi-retired nowadays. But there's also a pretty impressive stat sheet, especially in bingo. I mean, he has not lost a single race yet, and he has not like even lost a tournament, so he won everything. 25-0 is, yeah, one hell of a stat. And I mean, the world records also speak for themselves, even though some of them have been a bit longer ago, but I think absolutely a force to be reckoned with. Gonna be curious to see how he's gonna do this tournament. Let's draw for Group B, or Group 2. I don't know how we're gonna call them, really. He is only 2nd seed this time, I know. Surprisingly not seed number 1 on default, so maybe this year someone can actually take it. We'll find out. But first, we put Handel into the 2nd group, which is interesting. I mean, again, for now it doesn't really matter who's in which group, because we don't know who else is in there. So Handel, our seed 3, who has a short-ish history in bingo, I think is fair to say, because I believe this is only his 2nd tournament. But obviously last year he's already gotten 4th, so you know, that's one hell of a statement. 1 tournament, 1 4th place. But yeah, I think looking at the seeding, he is back with a vengeance. Very, very fast average. We'll see what he can do this tournament. We have 2 more people to draw from, though. We can name the groups after the Hogwarts houses. I like that as well. That's kind of cool. We'll see. Is it gonna be Sheriff, or is it gonna be Luzak, our seed 1? Oh, it looks to be Luzak. And by a hair though, or whatever you say in English. Barely Luzak in Group C. Bang on, almost like half of the board, or half of the wheel, but it was still barely on Luzak. So we have our seed 1 in Group C. I mean, I don't think Luzak needs much of an introduction either. If you've watched the bingo tournament 2023, where you got 2nd, same as in, you know, 22 as well. You know, that was probably one of the most legendary finals we've ever played, with a ton of snipes, with going all the way in matches against Beaver, and then ultimately, unfortunately, losing. Last year he was not here. He did not have time, unfortunately, so I'm even happier that he's back this year and is gonna challenge the Beaver, and we'll see what's gonna happen. And everyone else, of course, who knows what the final is gonna look like. 10-3 in bingo tournaments, pretty impressive stats. Yeah, I think it's very much clear that he's here to do some damage. And we have 1 runner left. I wonder who it's gonna be. I think the chances that it's Sheriff might be high, but I don't want to jinx it so people don't say it's rigged. So who knows? Could be anyone. So let's have the wheel decide on it. Group D for Sheriff. What a surprise. Yeah, imagine just surprise flow in entrance. Oh my god, how long is it gonna spin? There we go. What a surprise. It is Sheriff in D. Let's go. Not rigged, but I said it already. Probably the biggest glow up in the seeding this year. Going from out in the group stage, winning 1 race last year, and you know, being the last seed or 20th seed in last year's tournament to now averaging a 22-19 in the seeding. Yeah, cutting it down by 27 minutes, which is crazy. And being in pot 1. So yeah, absolutely impressive, I think, showcase. And I'm very, very curious what he can do as well in terms of damage this year. I may need one tiny second because I forgot to set something up. But you'll forgive me for that. This is all very professionally done. I might have not cropped something that I meant to crop. Hey, there we are. We got the board. We got our groups. So we're gonna be filling this out basically as we go along. And well, I mean, for now it's not very interesting. It's just everyone from pot 1 was seeded into a group. I think we're gonna be very much quickly advanced to group or pot 2, which also has a lot of very interesting people in it. There we have it. I think a lot of names that you are probably familiar with from bingo tournaments, and then maybe one name that you're familiar with but not from bingo. So I'm very, very curious about what all of those people can do as well. A lot of Polish in this group. But we do have Pekine, who's obviously our glitchless champion, incredibly good at HP2 in general, leading this pot here in seed 5. Then we have Imek, who's returning once again with a very strong seeding from, I mean, he's been in several bingo tournaments, always did pretty well. I think we'll see what his furthest was, I think quarterfinal. So a force to be reckoned with, always good in the group stage and in lockout. Sam returns in seed 7 again, same as last year, funnily enough. So Canada represented once more in the second pot. I think since he's the triple world record holder in bingo, doesn't need too much more introduction, gonna be a pretty strong component. And then yeah, Petrak, as I said already, I think the most interesting runner from pot 2 and maybe most unexpected, because obviously if you follow HP3 speedrunning, he's an absolute god at that game. And now branching out into HP2 bingo as well. And already in the first tournament and first seeding up into seed 8, I think is pretty damn important, impressive. Important as well. It might be important. We'll see how the draw goes. Very, very, very cool. And we have our second board here with those 4 runners. And I think we're just gonna spin it. Who is gonna join Beaver in Group A? Group 1, whatever. I think A. Which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. People told me like it's maybe not bad to be with Beaver because at least you don't have to play him in the playouts. But that fate, oh, it is the double Canada. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. It is the Canadian group coming through already. How high were the chances? I swear this is not rigged. I swear on everything. Well, that's going to be interesting. The very polite matchup is going to happen. Well, let's take a look at Sam's achievements first of all, though. We have him obviously running since last year, where he kind of joined the bingo tournament sort of out of the blue and did very well in it. Went out in only the round of 16, so made it through groups pretty well. And once again got a strong seeding. And I'm very curious what he can do during this year's tournament. So that leaves us, though, with 2 Polish and 1 French. And it's gonna be the question of who's gonna join Group B, which currently is, with Handels as the group leader or group header. So we'll find out now. It's gonna be a lot of blue, a lot of yellow, and looks like it's gonna be Imek very barely. So we have the Czech-Polish matchup. That I'm genuinely very curious about. I feel like Imek and Handel are gonna be that's gonna be a pretty impressive match. I feel like I expect a very close fight because again, Imek I feel like is even better in lockout than he is in triple bingo. So we could be having a pretty close match here. Improved a lot in triple to get like a very good seed in pot 2 this year. Obviously has a couple of Chungus records under his belt, is very good at HP2 in general, and always a very strong contender. Last year out in group stage is a little bit misleading, by the way, because he couldn't play because he didn't have time. But, you know, I mean, he was still technically out in the group stage, but he would have made it out if he would have had time to play in the knockout stage. So, yeah, I expect him to continue his performance like in 22 and 23 and get at the very least out of the groups. But we'll see what happens. And we have 2 more people. Next one is gonna join Luzak. So our seed 1, which is terrifying, and it's either gonna be Petrak in his first ever bingo tournament, or it's gonna be Pekan, who is preaching to everything that it's not him, I think. And it looks like the praging worked, and it's gonna be Petrak. It is the Polish group. We have the Canadian group and the Polish group. I mean, that's gonna be a fun match, but that is not an easy group to land in. Like, damn. That is gonna be a cool match, though. I'm very much looking forward to it. And of course, I also present you Petrak, who obviously doesn't have too much in terms of statistics for bingo yet, because it's his first tournament, which again makes seed 8 even more impressive. If I would list all the HP3 accomplishments, then this page would be full. So we'll see if he adds some bingo to that legacy as well. And then, for completion's sake, I'm curious who ends up in Group D with Scherf in the Kappa Pride group, I guess. I wonder. I wonder who it's gonna be. Looks like it's Pekan. What a big surprise. So that is interesting, because that makes it our seed 4, our seed 5 joining our seed 4, basically, with Pekan and Scherf playing each other in the group stage, which is, well, technically the closest matchup that we can get. Obviously, well, you guys probably know Pekan. Made himself a big name in the HP speedrunning scene. A lot of world records, a lot of glitchless stuff, a lot of CEs, very good bingo seeding. Last year, already got to the quarterfinals in his first tournament, so yeah, I think we only go up from here. And I'm very, very curious how this year's gonna go for him. And since we've drawn everyone from pot 2 into their respective groups, I mean, we've kept track, but we can quickly look at them again just to have a bit of an overview, because why not? We might as well. And he's very good with emotes. Yeah, that's one thing I missed in the list of accomplishments. Yeah, but we have the Canadian group, we have Handel and IMAC, then we have the Polish group, and then Scherf and Pekan in Group D. Let's take a look at pot 3, I would say, because is there potentially a possibility to continue the Polish group? I'm honestly not entirely sure, but let's find out, because we have our pot 3 here, and we don't see any Polish flags, and we also don't see any Canadian flags, which is unfortunate. So our nations groups will have to be destroyed here. But this is an interesting pot because of what Mani says already, basically, in chat. This pot has a bit of a range in terms of their seeding times. There's a bit of a gap, I think, between well, my seed 10 and then Dino's seed 11. Not too much, but a couple of minutes. So it's a sort of a bit of a divided spot. But yeah, well, in order, we have Portal in pot 3, which is, I mean, probably unexpected for most, which does absolutely show how stacked this pot is, or how stacked this tournament is. Because Portal, if you've seen the previous years, always one of the people to look out for to do some damage in the tournament and potentially, yeah, make it all the way to the finals or even further. And we'll see how I can do it this year, but I know he's practiced a lot, I know he's motivated, so I have some high hopes. Then we also have this Nixo guy, and well, I don't have too much to add to my seeding performance. I don't feel like I played that poorly. I've even improved, but everyone else has gotten very, very fast. So I guess I'll take a 10th, you know. I'm a bit terrified about the group I'm gonna get into. I'm not very happy to be in that seed because I was seed 4 last year. But I promise you guys, I may be old and slow, but I'm still here to play some Lockout, and I'm still here to get something done and to do some damage. So we'll see how well that's gonna work. And then we have the two Brits. We have Dino and Jamie. You might be a bit confused that one has the UK flag and one has the English flag, but I went purely with what they have on speedrun.com. So it might look a bit weird seeing them next to each other. But yeah, we have Dino in 11th seat, one of the, you know, sort of almost tournament OGs. He's been, actually, no, I think he's only been in 3, but he's been in quite a few bingo tournaments. Same as Jamie. Jamie never wants to be here, you know, that's at least the running joke. But they both had a pretty good seeding. I feel like making it in pot 3 is not an easy feat. And I think they're both also looking to do some damage and cannot be underestimated at all. Like pot 3, you'll see why it's actually very impressive when we look at pot 4, because there might be some surprises in there. Let me put it that way. But I've yapped long enough. We have made it to pot 3, and we're gonna draw out of this. Someone has to join the Canadian group. Reigning champion Beaver and fellow Canadian reigning triple bingo world record holder Sam. Not necessarily a place you want to be in. Definitely means there's gonna be some tough matches ahead. And I'm very sorry, Sonia, your wishes were not granted and not heard by the gods of RNG. It is gonna be me. Joining the Canadian group, I mean, oi. I'm looking forward to those matches, I have to say. But that is not necessarily an easy feat. I accept the challenge. I will not be dropping out. We'll see. I think they're going to be at least interesting matches. We do have myself here. Yay! I don't want to yap about myself too much because that's kind of weird, to be completely honest. I did very well last year. I had tournaments where I did very poorly. I had tournaments where I did very well. I think it really depends how well I'm gonna do. I'll try my hardest to at least make it out of groups, I suppose. Yeah, at least dodging Beaver in the playoffs if I would make it out. That's kinda true. Well, that was fun. Let's see who joins the Handel and IMEC group in Group B, which is, I mean, no matter which group you join, honestly, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be tough. And it's gonna be even tougher now with Portal. Oh my god. Oh, that is a group. That is a beginning of a group. Holy shit. I feel like between those three, the matches can go either way. Like, again, they're in 3 different seeding pots just because the seeding was so tight. But I feel like it can go either way for them. Well, let's take a look at his stats, because there is quite an impressive resume in bingo tournaments as well. Because he has taken part in a couple, went 10-5 in matches. Kind of almost always made it to the quarterfinals, I feel like, which is honestly very impressive. I don't think there was a tournament where he didn't make it to the quarterfinals. And I think that's a resume not a lot of people can show off, apart from like maybe Beaver. But we'll see what he's gonna do this year, and even getting out of the groups is not gonna be super easy. You with no, this is the Handels and IMEC group. Handel and IMEC. That's Handel IMEC Portal. That's the group now. Yeah, again, as I said, I think this is too close to call. I feel like all 3 are gonna be so close together. And I do not want to make any predictions at this point. Now we get to the Luzak group. This is the, for now, full Polish group. Luzak and Petrak in Group C. And they're going to be joined by a Brit. Either Dino or Jamie, which... I mean, on paper, I suppose, looking at the seeding times, are probably the 2 you would want in your group, just on paper. So it looks to be Dino, and that will put Jamie into Group 5. Oh, my keyboard stopped working. I will be right back. I might have to cut that out in the end. Fuck this keyboard, man. Okay, let's just forget that happened. I don't know if it's the hub on like the USB hub or if it is the keyboard, but I have to definitely replace something a little bit annoying. It doesn't usually happen when I play for some reason. It's just when I don't touch the keyboard for a while. It's a super weird issue. Like I don't really know. But anyways, let's take a look at Dino as well. Because once again, not someone to be underestimated, even though his bingo resume does not look the greatest on paper, going 1-7, so only picking up 1 win so far. But he made it out of groups in 2023 into the round of 16, which is definitely not an easy feat. And I think this year he's back stronger than ever with a way better seeding score than ever before. So I have the feeling that we do not count him out here. And then, well, who can it be? Anyone could make it into Group D. Nice rhyme, actually. I'm impressed with myself, almost. But we do have, after Dino also returning back to bingo, which I'm very happy about as well. We also have Jamie returning back to bingo. Totally against his will. And he will be in this Group D with Sheriff and Pekine. So that's an interesting one. It's gonna be 4th, 5th, and then, what is it? 12th seed. So that's a big gap in seeds, which technically, I guess is, I don't know, is that a good or a bad sign? I'm not entirely sure. I still expect some exciting matches in this. It's definitely an interesting group so far, with Jamie joining in. Also with a couple of mixed performances, I think is fair to say, in bingo tournaments, but also made it out of groups in 23. Once again, not at all an easy feat. Last year, unfortunately, was not quite making it. It was the very close group with, I think, Jamie, Sheriff, and Miney fighting to make it out, and they were all like tied up, and was really close in the end, and then Miney made it. But yeah, this year, I think Jamie has a good chance to make it out again, and I think he really would like to. So we'll see what happens in the group stage. 3 people, yeah, the top 3 makes it out to the knockout stage. That's how the group stage works. So on paper, which I doubt is gonna be how it's gonna end because it's never how it is on paper, but on paper, like, I guess the people we see now are the favorites to make it out, the top 3 seeds of every group. But there's also still Flo, so and other people that are also very good at bingo, and I think there's a lot of ways that this can go towards 4th seeded or 4th pot and 5th pot as well. But for now, those are our groups. I mean, we talked about them quite a bit. I think for now there isn't too much more to add. Oops, there was a wheel. Yeah, I'm still getting flashbacks from the match versus Renee. That was way too close, which is a shame. Hopefully one day Renee comes back to bingo as well. But yeah, now I think we're gonna go to one of maybe the most important draws. Wait, actually, before we go to one of the maybe most important draws, who's even in this seeding pot? Can't skip out on that part, because this is another interesting one. Because, I mean, when you see this, there is probably a name you don't necessarily expect in there. Because it's Flo. And we're not entirely sure how he ended up in this spot. But I guess his triple bingos they just didn't go very well. Obviously, I think it goes without saying that he is a lot better at lockout. I mean, he made it to the finals last year. And he's very good at the game in general. So I feel like whatever group he gets in is gonna be massively disrupted. There's also, there's a big gap again between, I think, Flo and Coney, basically. So first seed in this group and last seed. So this can really make some big changes in how the groups are gonna play out. And we do have Misha in the 14th seed, which in my opinion is a pretty dang good position for the first glitched bingo tournament. One of the people, and you get to hear this a couple more times as we go on with pot 5 as well, But one of the people that played in the glitchless bingo tournament, the Russian glitchless bingo tournament, so definitely has some experience with being under pressure, doing some bingo bongoing, and should not be counted out. Neither should be Skillet, who improved massively once again. Last year he was last seed, 21st. We don't even have 21 seats this year because we made it 20 people basically for this tournament now. But definitely very, very solid improvement in triple, and I expect the same in lockout. And then Coney in 16th, which is another kind of, is almost like Flo, because if you remember last year, Coney made it to quarterfinals, tearing through people like Samot, for example, in the round of 16. So absolutely not to be underestimated in lockout either, and potentially also a bit in a lower pot than he maybe should be in. But let's do this draw. This is gonna be very important, I suppose. We're gonna have anyone or some one of those people join Group A. For as a reminder, it's Beaver, Samot, and myself in there for now. So who is gonna join us? Who's gonna make this group potentially even more difficult, most likely? And who's gonna battle to make it out, of course, with the rest of us? And it looks to be Misha, I think. I don't think it's gonna roll further onto Flo. So that will be interesting to see, because once again, Misha has some experience with bingo tournaments and has some experience with being under pressure, and played some pretty good seeding matches as well. I think played all of them as the only person and got to a 30.02 average, which is really not bad at all, especially for only running for, a bit more than a year. So we'll find out what he can do in that group, if he can make it out. I guess it's gonna be a fight for sure. Like, I am not confident. I think it's gonna be difficult to beat anyone in this tournament, to be completely honest. Glitches Runner Love Bingo learned the strats. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, well, let's take a look. Who of the remaining three is gonna join Group B? Handel, IMEC, and Portal, which I think is already a really tough group. So if we get Flo in here, that would be one hell of a battle royal. Oh, it looks to be Skillet though, and I do feel a little bit bad for him. That is a tough spot to be in. That is a tough spot to be in a group with three people that are I mean, to be fair, there's no people that are slow on the first three pots, really. But I think that is a pretty rough group. Yeah, it's the Slavic group, sort of. So that's pretty interesting. So far, we have a Czech, a Polish, a Bulgarian, and a Russian in there. So, at least I think they're gonna have a chill time racing. But it is a bit of a rough group for Skillet. I'm still gonna introduce him real quick though. Because it is a second bingo tournament after, again, being C21 last year, not making it out of group stage, but picking up a win, which I think, as last seed last year, that kind of already showed his potential, and that he is definitely not to be overlooked, And this year he's improved once more, and I think he can do some damage. So I wouldn't count him out, even though this is a tough group to get into. Wow, almost a 23-minute improvement in seeding. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Well, we still have Flo in there, and we still have Coney in there. In my opinion, probably, at least when it comes to lockout, two people that should not be in this pot. So whoever gets into C and D, they're gonna definitely shake up the group. So this is Luzak, Pietrek, and Dino's group. And they're gonna get... Oh, this is gonna be so close! It's Flo! And he's not seeking out Group D, like people thought initially. And it's gonna be Flo in that group. Oi, oi, oi. That is gonna be interesting, though. Luzak, Pietrek, Dino, and Flo did not want to go in D. Also, just as a quick side note, thank you so much for 86 months, Ollie. And welcome to this little tournament draw. Holy shit, that is a big number. And I hope you're well. Thank you so much. yeah, well, that was obviously, it had to happen, you know, Flo had to get into one of the groups. Some people say he smurfs the seeding, but interesting group. We'll take a look at his resume. I mean, I don't have to add much. Interestingly enough, I found that fun fact while I was like creating those info cards. Flo is the person that has played by far, well, not by far, but who's played the most matches in bingo tournaments, at least in the, you know, the ones that I host, out of all people. Like the second person would be Beaver with 25 matches, and Flo gets to a 28. So I guess on paper, most experience from everyone. And of course, I mean, yeah, the world records, they speak for themselves. Everyone knows he's fast. He got second in 2020, which I completely forgot about, to be completely honest. That was the first bingo tournament. And then got second in 2024 again. I think out in quarterfinals in 23 or something, but consistent, very, very impressive performances. Not the greatest seeding, but still better than last year. But yeah, Giga Flo all around, I think is fair to say. And yeah, well, we once again have the great situation to have Coney left. I have the feeling he's gonna grow into Group D, but let's spin the wheel anyways. So, it's gonna be Coney. Who would have seen that coming? The benevolent wheel has chosen him indeed. Going into Group D, another good improvement actually of 7 minutes in the seeding. That is not terrible, but once again, what I think is more noteworthy is the performance in the last tournament. Even though technically going 3-3, I think he was one of the lowest seeds as of the tournament and made it out of the group stage and even to the quarterfinals. Oh, this is wrong. Sorry, this says out in round of 16. I made a mistake there. That is not true. Coney actually making it to the quarterfinals. Ignore that. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, again, I think very impressive runner. Also very good at the game, as the CE World Records show. And not all of that is low cast, before someone says that. So I'm very, very curious. Definitely not an easy person to deal with in a group, I feel like. So I'm not sure, of course, what Sheriff Pecan and Jamie think about it, but I have the feeling that there is a chance for some upsets in this group as well. And yeah, very interesting to see those. I think in all of those groups, the fourth seed can definitely make a difference and can definitely cause some trouble for the the other four people, the 3 people that we know and the 1 person that we have to determine on now, because we have one last pot and then the fun is unfortunately over already. We have our pot 5 and we see more Russian flags because we have more participants of the glitchless bingo tournament that was hosted by none other than Chips, by the way, who you got to see play earlier, who won the playoff match now with Nadia, which gives Chips the position in the tournament, of course, as our C20. And yeah, apart from that, we also have Diesel. I hope I pronounce his name correct. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm not fully sure, so correct me if I don't say it right. Who also played in the glitchless Russian bingo tournament, but who's also running HP2 for quite a bit longer, actually. So gonna be interesting to see. Mantis, our very own creator of the bingo counting tool, so I cannot praise him more than enough. Diesel, okay, Diesel works, that makes sense. Yeah, made it so much easier for the counters to track stuff during the matches and to make it so we do not have goals marked wrong. Miney, of course, our statistician, is that a word? But has been feeding me a lot of the seeding times during this. Also, obviously, you know, from previous bingo tournaments and returns, got out of groups last time, probably is looking to do that again. Not gonna be easy, I think, no matter what group we get in here, but I'm gonna be curious to see what happens. A lot of East Europeans in this tournament. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. It's kind of cool though. I like it. I like it. And then yeah, Chips, we've already seen him played very well today. Did very, very okay in the seeding match. Did, you know, a lot of cool strats. Definitely knows his bingo And, you know, it's nice to have him here. As the host of the Glitchless Bingo tournament, it's nice to have him in the glitched version as well. But enough yapping. Let's go and draw our final 4 people into our groups. We start with A. It's once again, as a reminder, the one with Beaver, Samot, Nixo, whoever that is, and Misha. There could be a double Russian matchup in here. Yeah, Glitchless Bingo is very cool. I've watched some of the matches, and yeah, I think Chips probably does another one, hopefully. So that might be worth looking into and joining for people as well. And speaking of Chips, he is gonna be the first to be picked by the wheel here going into Group A. So we do have the Russian matchup. We do have Misha versus Chips, which I do not fully know if that's a rematch from the Glitchless Bingo tournament. I have the feeling it is, but I could also be wrong. I feel like you guys might have played, but correct me if I'm wrong. But that's going to be very interesting to see. And then, of course, against the rest of the group, we'll see how they get stacked up. Yeah, that's true. I'm surrounded by 2 Canadians and then 2 Russians. And Chips won during the Glitchless tournament, I see. So that's going to be very interesting to see. But before we go to the next draw, of course, we'll have Chips, you know, for now, relatively short resume in here as well. I guess that's also the time to tell everyone that I have only taken like the glitch tournaments into account for those statistics. So for glitch tournaments, no stats yet, but that is gonna change this year now that he's made it into the tournament, which I'm very happy about. I am the odd one out in that group, I think so too. I'm having a bad feeling about this, but we'll find out. Anyways, we have 3 more people to put into groups. Who is gonna join Group B? Handel, IMEC, Portal, and Skillet, which I think is once again a rough one. I feel like that's the most brutal one so far. And it's Diesel, I think. Or not? This is so close. Nope, it is Diesel, but like very, very barely. By like, I don't know, nothing. Not even a millimeter. And that is, in my opinion, very interesting because that makes this group even more difficult. It is a full Slavic group as well, that's very true. But since he is the highest seed out of this group, out of this pot, that definitely doesn't make it easier for Group B. And yeah, that also means we will have another Russian matchup in Group B. And yeah, what the hell, that's gonna be a cool group. I think very, very much stacked. Very difficult for anyone to make it out of this, I feel like. Definitely looking forward to this. A lot of matches that I expect to be very, very close. A grinder group, yup. Oh, and Skillet and Diesel played in Glitchless Bingo too. Well, there you go. That's pretty cool. So I guess they know each other as well. Again, I can keep the resume for now short. In glitch tournaments, nothing yet. But I'm happy that this year that is gonna change. So, we have 2 people left, Miney and Mantis, the 2 M's. Probably getting nervous now, I can kind of imagine. One of them is gonna join Luzak, Pitrak, Dino, and Flo, and the other one's gonna join Sherf, Pika, and Jamie, and Coney. If Miney goes into Group D, that is a very British group. But let's see what's gonna happen. We have one more kind of important wheel spin. The last one is just gonna be for anti-rigging purposes, I suppose. And we will get the British and Pecan, sort of. We will get Mantis in Group C, so we do have the British Group D. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Well, I am very much looking forward. I have a couple of things to say about all of those, but let's start with Mantis in Group C. Who is gonna join? I think a pretty competitive one. This is very interesting as well. I am not sure who I would favor in this. Like, obviously, Luzak, we have to expect, makes it out of groups, right? But then we have, like, Flo, who is very good in some days and throwing in other days. And we have Petrak, who we don't know how he plays in Lockout yet. We have Dino, who, you know, has done some good runs, but also has lost a couple of times in Lockout. And then Mantis as well, kind of the same last year. I'll show his statistics real quick, because he was in the 6 people group with Skillet last year. And then he did pick up 2 wins, but still sadly did not make it out of the group stage. So a bit of a mixed bag, but I feel like definitely someone who can win some matches. So honestly, I feel like it's going to be a group that is very interesting, where honestly anyone can make it out, even the lowest seed on paper. Well, and that leaves us to Miney and a very interesting last group, because people pointed it out already. It is close to the same group as last year, because we have Miney, Jamie, and Sherv in the same group again. So it's the triple British who last year fought over getting out of the groups, all on 1 win, I think. And then I don't even remember how Miney got out. I think on goal difference. I'm not entirely sure. And yeah, I feel like Jamie versus Miney does happen like every single tournament. So I guess that's kind of cool. Maybe RNG is not quite that random. Oh, and then Pika took you out in round of 16. So I guess that matchup also keeps on happening. Very interesting. That is that is definitely very, very interesting. I will show you, of course, Miney as well. In the info card. Interestingly enough, this 1 win last tournament was incredibly important to make it out of groups, which is really cool. And I think, yeah, hopefully, I mean, that's a good thing. For lockout, the loadless timer does not matter, not as much as for the triple one. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see those rematches again. I'm having the feeling that it's going to be at least very, very fun matches to see. Miney's 3rd bingo tournament, by the way, which is pretty cool. So already sort of a veteran at this, which can definitely be an advantage. But honestly, in this group, it's kind of a group filled with veterans. Because, you know, every one of those has at least 1 tournament under their belts already. So no one should get too stressed by the lockout shenanigans, by the pressure. People should have a grasp on it, of course. But yeah, that is our groups. Very interesting ones. I'm happy with the draw this year, even though for me, it's going to be a fight for sure. But I think those are some exciting groups. I like how they're themed after countries, kind of. Like, it feels like the wheel was a bit biased. Like, it really grouped people of the same countries together. Cool. We don't speak about Group A. I mean, I guess I kind of have to, you know, unfortunately. Yeah, I've played Beaver countless times, so it's going to be a nice rematch. I wanted to play Sam last year. I didn't get around to, so I'm happy that that's going to happen. And then Misha and Chips, I'm also very much looking forward to as opponents. Being, you know, first time in those kind of tournaments. I think it's going to be pretty fun. So I hope everyone's happy with their groups. I had no influence. If you're not happy, then skew wheeldeside.com. Because I have no influence on this. But I do think we have some good matches coming. So even if someone thinks the group is too tough, at least it's gonna be fun. Am I right? Cool. Yeah, I think that's our draw. I think that's really all I can say about this. Who's in your group? Are you audio only? There you go, Portal. It's Handel, IMAX, Skillet, and Diesel. I don't know if you're happy with that or not, but that is the official results. Good. Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add. So again, it's even on the seating dock. Thank you so much for watching this today, though. This day was like planned to be a bit longer. But since, unfortunately, Human had the tech issues and couldn't play today, we are kind of done now.